Hello. Today we have a very special guest here at the Student Pride movement. Kyne Santos has been a part of the Waterloo Catholic District School Board for 12 years. He's a world-class drag queen entertainer and is known for his esteemed social media presence. On his YouTube channel, he teaches over 100,000 subscribers about the art of drag, and on his TikTok channel, he teaches over 500,000 followers about the beauty of math, combining the two passions he discovered while in high school. Kyne has worked with MAC Cosmetics, Yahoo, the It Gets Better Project, and has appeared on CBC's Exhibitionist with his makeup transformations. This summer, he is starring in the debut season of Canada's Drag Race on Crave TV. When he's not on stage performing drag, he's studying at the University of Waterloo, where he received the prestigious $60,000 Schulich Leadership Scholarship to study mathematics. One of our old-time friends, partners in crime. Without further ado, we present to you Kyne Santos. How are you doing today, Kyne?
Hi, Cheyenne. Oh my God, thanks so much.
Of course. I know I'm so grateful that you've taken time out of your busy life, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in our conversation, to come talk to us about something that's, more local. You've kind of gone local to the world, but we appreciate you bringing it back,
Sure.
to our good old hometown to talk about some important issues.
Yeah.
All right, Kyne. So we just want to start off with one of the first questions. It's going to be very broad, but just can you tell us a bit about your connection with the Waterloo Catholic District School Board and your experience with the student?
Sure. I have, as you mentioned in my bio, I've been a student in the school board for really most of my life, ever since probably grade 1. I've gone to school here in Kitchener at Catholic schools and all throughout high school. So it's been a very big part of my life.
For sure. And when you were, what kind of things did you do when you were, I know a little bit about it, but our years kind of didn't coincide completely. So if you want to speak and touch a little bit on maybe within those years at the school board, what kind of things you were involved in, kind of your, post-alumni days, kind of some of the things you were doing around the school and things you were involved in.
Sure. Well, I really got more involved in school when I was in high school. I had done lots of math contests. Actually, when I was in grade 11, I got to do a big math camp at the University of Waterloo because of some of the math contests I was doing at school, because I was really encouraged by my math teachers. And so that was a really big part of my life. And I was also involved in the student vote team. Trying to think off the top of my head, it feels like such a long time ago now.
Oh, for sure. No, I feel like you have so many
Yeah,
things.
my life in high school was very academic.
Oh, 100%. And so many things have come up recently too, you know what I mean? I feel like every day is a new day for you, so. Well, in regards to that, you being super involved within mathematics, I feel like everyone knew you were in the school for that. You also had a very good presence when it came to just like student body involvement. As much as you weren't within high school, at least speaking from my experience on my relationship with you over the years, you did kind of be more of a behind the scenes presence, but someone that was really important in video editing, and that's when you're getting into the world of YouTube, and you contributed a lot towards student councils and such. So that was also a big part of how I started to know you and how I got to talk to you, other than the fact that you were sitting beside me in grade 12 math class when you were in grade 11. And while I was getting, just barely passing, you were getting hundreds, but, we won't speak on that today. Okay. So the main reason why I wanted to bring you here was that we wanted to talk about the Student Pride movement. So we won't get too much into what the movement is, because we plan on posting this on our social media. So if they're coming to our social media, people will most likely know what's going on. But I know you got the chance to look into, and you probably have seen in the media within itself, kind of the controversy that's going on within the Waterloo Catholic District School Board in regards to LGBTQ plus representation and the making of the pride flag, the refusal to fly the pride flag, and then the no pride flag at all. So I was just wondering, kind of what were your initial thoughts, feelings, emotions, reactions, if any, when it came to learning about this? I know you're still local, and I know in some of your videos you kind of touch on your past experience and kind of where it's brought you. So I was just wondering, when it came to those roots of kind of where you come from as, you know, someone who I would consider, and I think the community would consider to be so successful, coming from this school board for, you know, all these different things, but you're also a member of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these things?
I was really horrified to see what had happened in the comments that Greg Reitzel made, because it was just shocking. Because growing up in the school board, I had always felt accepted by my teachers, by the administrators. I had a really good experience, and I was very lucky for that. And I feel like I've gone around and told everybody I had a great high school experience. My high school was very progressive. They let me be myself. It was a safe space for me. And to see that this is the leadership that they have is kind of disgusting to me.
100%. No, for sure. I really relate to that. I, you know, could never speak bad on my high school experience. And I think that comes from, you know, the ground roots of the people and the staff and the activities that were going on. It was an inclusive place, but more so because the people that were running the school, you know, the walls of the school were inclusive, not necessarily from the top down approach, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting.
So Kyne, obviously with everything that you're doing and support for the LGBTQ community and being a great presence, how would you explain to our viewers what Pride means to you and like what LGBTQ community means to you personally? Being part of it.
Sure. To me, Pride is, well, for me, a big part of it is the visibility and the representation. And I think what I am doing on my TikTok account, talking about math and being all dressed up in drag, is I want to show people that, you know, if you want to be a mathematician or a scientist or an academic, you don't have to look a certain way, because that is something that kind of held me back from coming out when I was younger, because I thought that if I was gay, people wouldn't really take me seriously in academia. And I don't want people to have that belief. I don't want people to think that you have to talk a certain way and look a certain way if you want to make it in life. The thing that will take you there and the thing that matters most is what's in your brain and what you can bring to the table. And it doesn't really matter how you present yourself or what you look like or even who you love, because it should just matter what you know.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That speaks to the heart. Like, that's exactly how I feel about it. And you're such a great embodiment of that. So that kind of follows us into our next question. It's like, what would it mean to you, you know, past Kyne, present Kyne, like what would it mean to you in order to like know that your school board that you came from would be open to like endorsing and putting more supports and more representation, coming to the table with like a strong statement and plan of action to support LGBTQ youth, you know, like us, like you, from, you know, back in the day, giving those kids the chance to kind of have that representation?
Well, as I said, I had a great high school experience, and I think I'm one of the lucky ones, because I think lots of people don't enjoy their high school experience, and especially lots of gay people. And I think for the school to just openly support us would, it would just mean that all the students who are like me and who are going to be like me in any way would have the same opportunities that I had and had the same freedoms and had the same support. Because I can't even imagine what things would be like if I had teachers or administrators that were pulling me to the side and telling me that I was living a lifestyle of sin. If they weren't supportive of me, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have had the courage to go to school wearing lots of makeup. I wouldn't have had the courage to go in school, getting up on the stage in the talent show and dancing in front of everyone. And if not for that, I wouldn't maybe have had the courage to start my YouTube channel and really put myself out there. And it was because I felt so supported in my high school experience that I am where I am today. And I never want any future kids to be stopped in that. I want everyone to have the same opportunities and to have even better opportunities than I had.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That's the thing, like, and these are such important developmental years in, you know, one person's life, and, you know, a few missed bumps along the way for sure builds resilience. But I think something that's so important within the education system is, of course, the education, but like who the school is helping aiding you to be as a person, like giving you those opportunities for personal development and personal growth so that you can expand out into the world and see, you know, maybe I like this, like, you know, maybe I like drag, but maybe I also like math. Like the two worlds can come together. They don't need to be run parallel beside each other, that they can coexist together.
Mm-hmm. And let me just say, I understand it's a Catholic school. Whenever I tell people that I went to a Catholic school, sometimes they're a bit surprised.
Yeah.
And I feel like, in my experience, the teachers and administrators that I had met, they ran the full gamut of all different kinds of Catholics, from the very progressive kinds to some of the more traditional kinds. And so I'm just so thankful that the ones that I had were the kinds that were very progressive and very open and accepting to people like us. Because as I said, I could not imagine my high school experience with people and teachers like Greg Reitzel.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's a new day, it's a new era, and there's all, you know, the Bible says that this is a place for everyone. I've went to Catholic school. You know, I mentioned in a previous video, I say this to my friends and to my family. You know, my parents aren't super religious. You know, they don't go to church every Sunday. It's not like that. But they sent me to Catholic school because, you know, for the education and for the, you know, the religious values that are positive, and, you know, the inclusion and just being able to open your mind to the world. Like, so it was just really struck me odd when this whole controversy happened, because, you know, a bunch of things weren't aligning. I only went to Catholic school, and even at, you know, UW, I went to Renison for social work. So I've only ever been in the Catholic atmosphere, and it's just a really poor representation, I think, this controversy of the potential that Catholic schools have to offer. So I think we're just going to need a little bit of education.
Yeah, that's right. And whether like it or not, there are going to be Catholic students who are in the LGBTQ community. And to not support them, to not fly the flag, to go out and say that it's a great sin and that you're going to resign if the flag is flown, that's not going to stop students from being gay.
100%.
It's not going to stop us from being ourselves. All it's going to do is make students go on the rest of their life saying, I hated my high school.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I don't want that. And the school board should not want that for us.
No, for sure. They preach a stance of inclusivity, and, you know, they have to now remember that we are the reason why you can, when you know, option out to the community, oh, you know, come to our school board because we're an inclusive place. This is a place where your child, you know, no matter what color of the rainbow, what color skin, whoever, wherever you come from, like, come to our place and your child will be safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the words have to coincide with the actions. So
yes.
On to that, Kyne. So one of their biggest mission statements is Waterloo Catholic District School Board is a place for all, and it's very inclusive. And one of our biggest mission is we're not trying to butt heads with them head to head, but we want to work hand in hand to create this change. So a lot of the board members are probably going to be watching this interview. What word of wisdoms could you give them on seeking this change and basically like progressing change in an institution where many people don't think that exists, for them to overstep that hurdle? What word of wisdoms would you have for them to encourage them?
Sure. I would say that my word of advice is that taking down the flag and not flying it at all is not a stance of neutrality. I think that the school board has to choose a side here, and when you have a trustee member that is making such inflammatory remarks, I think that that just stresses the need even further to fly the flag for us. And so I think that as Catholics, they have to, you know, really look within their hearts, I guess, to find out what is the compassionate thing to do here. What would Jesus do, you know, so to speak?
No, for sure.
Yeah, and I think the compassionate thing to do is to make a statement, choose a side, and be inclusive of all of us, and show the students in the LGBTQ community that you want to be inclusive and that you want to open them up to open arms.
100%. So I guess that being said, then the last question that I guess we have for you today, Kyne, would be, if you were to be speaking directly to the viewers, you know, past and present, of the LGBTQ community that may have been within the school board or even without the school board, like, what kind of words of wisdom or words of hope would you have for them, even just in regards to Pride Month? Like, what's your your kind of final words to them and about their acceptance of themselves and about this wonderful community of the LGBTQ plus that we are a part of?
Sure. I would say to all the students out there in the LGBTQ community, you're going to face hurdles in life, and maybe you're going to go to a really progressive high school that's going to support you and accept you, and maybe you're not. Maybe that's not what's going to come out of this, but despite that, everybody faces hurdles in their life, and it is so important to have a good support system, whether that's your school or your family or your group of friends. But if you don't have those, if one of those is kind of faltering, you have to uplift yourself and find that courage within yourself, because if it's not going to come from the outside, you have to bring it from the inside. And you can't let those hurdles in life hold you back and keep you down, because you can't wait around for somebody to pick you up and change your life. You have to just do it yourself.
Wow. No, 100. Wow, definitely. It has to start from within. And if you if you have your back, then you don't need anything else. And if other things come along the way, then that's just that much more of a boost up on the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
How I feel as well. All right, Kyne. Well, thank you so much, so much. We're so grateful, honestly, for having you here. Questions aside, candid as it is, I look up to you. I know you're younger than me, but I look up to you. I appreciate you. And you can bet your bottom dollar that I will be watching Drag Race, which airs July 2nd.
Yes.
July 2nd, Canada's Drag Race will be airing. Such a big thing for you out of, the repertoire of all the big things for you that there is. But, everyone should be tuning in to, your hometown hero here. This is Kyne, Crave TV, July 2nd for RuPaul's Drag Race Canada, the first one ever. Okay, so that's really big, really huge. So we really want to make sure that we support Kyne. He's a great guy and a great advocate for our community and just a hometown success. So.
Also, follow him on TikTok because he does have amazing lessons that will blow your mind. Like
for sure.
2 medium pizzas
100%.
actually are less than 1 large pizza. And blew my mind until this day. Every time I see a pizza ad, I'm like, I know you're...
You guys are too nice. Oh my God, thank you.
All right, well, we'll let you go because we know that you have a very, very busy day. You're going back to your schoolwork, trying to change the world. So we will let you go, and we appreciate you so much for coming on today, Kyne, okay?
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, we'll stay in contact.